There are nights that change everything, not because of what happened, but because of what was finally revealed. The sky that night was unusually still. It wasn't just the silence in the air, it was the way time itself seemed to hesitate, as though heaven was holding its breath. A soul stirred restlessly beneath that sky. Your soulmate. The one whose name still pulses inside your spirit even after all the distance, all the delays, all the silence. They thought they had moved on. They told themselves they had let go. But heaven knew the truth. And so did their heart. That night wasn't just another night. It was a divine appointment. An unplanned collision between their carefully guarded logic and the truth they had buried so deep, it could only be reached through sacred interruption. They didn't expect the moment. It crept up quietly, through a glance, a memory, a word spoken in passing, and suddenly the walls they had built began to crack. And heaven was watching. Archangel Michael stood silently nearby, not to interfere, but to bear witness. To record, to confirm, and to whisper into the atmosphere, let them see. And they did. Not with their eyes. With their soul. Their heart began to tremble, not in fear, but in recognition. Because in the stillness of that moment, they realized, I am standing in a place I was never meant to stay. They looked around and felt, absence. Absence of meaning. Absence of connection. Absence of you. They smiled to fit the scene. Laughed when they were supposed to. But inside, their heart was screaming something their lips refused to say, this is not where I belong. Because even in that place, even in the presence of others, your spirit was louder. Your absence was louder than the voices around them. Your memory more present than any face nearby. And suddenly, what was once hidden rose like fire through their chest. They weren't just remembering you. They were aching for you. That night, the one you keep wondering about, the one that haunts you in your dreams, was not meaningless. It was not betrayal. It was the beginning of an awakening. The angels saw it all. They watched as your soulmate's smile wavered. As their breath caught. As a sudden weight of emotion overwhelmed them. They watched as their heart whispered the truth their mind had tried to erase, I still love them. Not the shallow kind of love that comes and goes. Not infatuation. Not nostalgia. It was a holy kind of knowing. A sacred recognition of a bond that never really broke, no matter how many times they tried to cut the thread. You may have cried that night. You may have felt a sudden rush of sadness you couldn't explain, a heaviness in your chest that pressed down without mercy. That wasn't just grief. It was spiritual transmission. You were feeling their heart shift toward you. You were feeling their walls begin to collapse. You were feeling the weight of the truth rising to the surface. Because God never forgot you. He never let go of the prayer you whispered when your voice was breaking, please, don't let me love the wrong person again. And heaven answered. That night was not your ending. It was your beginning. It was the divine unraveling of every illusion your soulmate had clung to. It was the moment they realized that no matter what comfort surrounded them, nothing felt like home. Because you weren't there. And now, as dawn approached and the sky lightened, they stood still. Frozen between the world they had built and the truth they couldn't escape. Michael whispered again, they are remembering who their heart belongs to. And they're remembering you. It's not that they stopped loving you. It's that they were afraid to admit they never could. The morning after that unforgettable night, something was different, but not on the outside. On the outside, your soulmate carried on with their life. Smiled. Texted. Showed up. Played the role they had mastered. But inside a war had begun. Because once truth awakens in the heart, it refuses to go back to sleep. And the truth was this, they had built an entire world trying to forget you, and it had all just crumbled in a single night. Heaven didn't send thunder. No lightning cracked the sky. But within them, an emotional earthquake was shaking loose everything they thought they knew. They woke up with your name on their lips and a question they couldn't silence: why am I thinking about them now? Why this strong? Why today? They tried to distract themselves. Music. Noise. Conversations. But the silence between those things only made your memory echo louder. Because God wasn't just reminding them of you. He was realigning them to you. Your soulmate had made choices. Some out of fear. Some out of confusion. Others out of pain. But none of those choices could erase the covenant heaven wrote between your names. That's why the angels weren't surprised. They had seen this moment in the scrolls long before you were born. Archangel Gabriel had whispered it across timelines: there will come a reckoning. And the one who walked away will awaken with a fire that cannot be quenched. And the fire had started burning. They thought they had closed the door on you. But that door never fully shut. They just silenced the hallway. But now, their dreams were full of you. Vivid, electric. Emotional. They'd wake in a sweat, breathless, heart pounding. In one dream, you walked away again. In another, you simply stared at them, not with anger, but with knowing. And that haunted them more than anything. Because deep down, they knew you saw them. You always did. And now, more than ever, they wanted to be seen by you again. But fear. Oh, how fear clings to those who have run from their truth. Your soulmate is battling the same storm you already survived, the fear of being too late. The fear that they hurt you too much. The fear that you're already gone. The fear that someone else is now holding the heart they once ignored. The angels showed me the way they stare at your name on their screen. Yes, they have typed it. Yes, they have hovered over the send button. More than once. But their hands shook. Their breath shortened. Because what if you rejected them? What if the door that once stood open was now sealed shut? So instead of pressing send, they pressed silence. And they regret it. Every single day, they regret it. The battle inside them is holy, not because it's loud, but because it's real. They're not running from love. They're running from the shame of how long they took to recognize it. And still, God is not finished. He's working behind the scenes, gently pressing on their heart. Whispers in music. Memories in stillness. A scent, a date, a sign. 717 on a license plate. A crow staring through the window. A stranger saying your name in casual conversation. Each sign is orchestrated. Each divine interruption is designed to break down one more wall between you and them. And slowly, it's working. Their heart is softening. Their pride is breaking. And for the first time in a long time, they are thinking not just about you, but about coming back to you. But they don't want to return empty-handed. They want to come back whole. Changed. Awakened. Worthy. That's why you haven't heard from them yet. Not because they forgot. But because they remember everything. What felt like abandonment was actually heaven's greatest setup for transformation. Your soulmate didn't walk away because they stopped loving you. They walked away because their spirit wasn't ready to hold what their heart already knew. There's a sacred kind of silence that God allows, not to punish, but to prepare. And that's exactly what has been happening in the space between you and them. You see, from the outside, it may have looked like nothing was moving. But heaven was doing more behind the veil than either of you could imagine. The angels showed me that during the time you were in tears, thinking they forgot you, they were crying too, alone, behind closed doors. They saw your face in dreams they tried to forget. They heard your voice in rooms you had never been in. They felt your energy at moments that made no logical sense. Why? Because God wasn't letting them forget you. Heaven doesn't erase what it assigns. And your connection was assigned. Even while they entertained other people, other cities, other versions of a life without you, it never felt right. They smiled, but it didn't reach their soul. They laughed, but it echoed with hollowness. Because the truth is, no one else ever felt like home. And deep down, they always knew it. That night, the one that changed everything, was not a mistake. It was a divine breaking. A holy interruption. And from that moment on, nothing inside them could remain the same. But here's what you didn't see: the delay wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Heaven was healing them. Not just on the surface, but at the soul level. The abandonment wounds. The shame they buried. The pride that kept them distant. The lies they believed about not being good enough. All of it, being slowly unraveled by God's mercy. Because when they return, and yes, they will, they won't be the same person who left. They'll be wiser. More tender. Less defensive. More aware. Less afraid. Because they had to face their own darkness first. And the angels want you to know, this delay was a divine mercy, not a rejection. If they had come back to you too soon, their fear would have ruined it again. Their guilt would have sabotaged the blessing. Their unhealed pain would have bled on the very person who always tried to love them whole. And that's not what heaven wants for either of you. This isn't just about romance. This is about reunion at the right frequency. Where both of your hearts can hold each other, not from brokenness, but from spiritual fullness. That's why God has been working on you too. You've been growing. Stronger. More spiritually grounded. More discerning. More aligned with your calling. Because when the divine moment comes, and it's closer than you think, you won't just be reuniting with a person. You'll be reuniting with your destiny. A love that carries purpose. A connection that activates calling. A union that brings healing to others, not just to yourselves. So, my dear soul, listen closely, you're not waiting in vain. Every minute of silence was sacred. Every tear watered the soil of divine timing. Every moment of loneliness was building capacity to carry what's coming. You weren't just being delayed. You were being entrusted with something eternal. And now, the angels say the moment is approaching. But you must stay awake. Because the next sign will not be subtle. It will be bold. Direct. Unmissable. And when it comes, you will know, this is the time. This is the shift. This is the love heaven never stopped orchestrating. When the soul speaks, the angels lean in. And right now, your name is echoing in someone's spirit like a sacred song they can't turn off. Beloved soul, do not be deceived by silence. Because in the spirit realm, your name is louder than ever. Heaven showed me something breathtaking, something only the brave are meant to hear. Your soulmate has begun to remember. Not in the way memory works in the brain. But the way a tree remembers spring after winter. The way a heart remembers peace after war. It's happening now. They are not just thinking of you. They are awakening to you. And it all began the night they couldn't sleep. That night, yes, that one, when the rest of the world was calm, but their chest was a battlefield. The air was heavy. Their thoughts were restless. And their spirit kept whispering one word. You. They tried to distract themselves. Music. Scrolling. Empty conversations. But nothing could drown the ache that had finally risen to the surface. Because what the angels allowed to resurface wasn't just nostalgia. It was truth. A truth they buried so deep, they forgot where they placed it. But heaven didn't forget. And neither did you. They're remembering the way your energy used to calm them. The way your words felt like sacred scripture. The way your presence didn't just touch their body, it reached their soul. And now, it's too late to unknow it. They miss you. Not just physically. They miss the safety of you. The clarity of you. The home of you. And just when they thought they had locked the door to that part of their soul forever, the angels opened a window. A memory. A smell. A dream. You were there. You appeared in a dream that didn't feel like a dream. It felt like a visitation. They woke up breathless, shaken. Not because it was frightening, but because it was too real. They could still feel the warmth of your presence. They could still hear the words you whispered in that otherworldly place. And in that moment, they knew, they had never truly let you go. They only tried to survive your absence. But your absence didn't heal them. It haunted them. And now, the haunting has become a holy haunting. A call. A pull. A whisper that grows louder with every sunrise. Here's what the angels revealed next. In the next 3 to 5 days, they will experience what heaven calls a heartquake. Not an earthquake. A heartquake. Where every suppressed emotion will rise. Where every lie they told themselves will collapse. Where their soul will scream louder than their fears. And in that moment, you will feel it too. Your chest might feel tight out of nowhere. You might suddenly think of them when you haven't in days. You might even weep without knowing why. That's not coincidence. That's connection. Your souls are mirroring each other now. What hurts them now has always been what hurt you. What awakens in you will begin to awaken in them. And the angels say, prepare. Because once this heartquake happens, they won't be able to pretend anymore. They won't be able to stay silent. They will either call, or show up, or send a message so raw, so unrehearsed, it will shake you to your knees. But before they reach you with words, heaven will reach you with signs. Watch for the crows again. Watch for the number 717. Watch for dreams with water, rivers, oceans, or rain. These aren't random. These are breadcrumbs left by the divine to guide your faith back to center. Because what you've been waiting for isn't delayed anymore. It's in motion. It's in momentum. It's in the final stretch. And your spirit already knows it. Some people don't leave because they stopped loving. They leave because the love scared them more than the silence ever could. Chosen one. Let me tell you what happened after the heartquake. That moment when your soulmate's spirit trembled under the weight of truth, it wasn't just a feeling. It was a sacred collapse of everything false. They were undone. Undone by one memory, one dream, one supernatural realization that could no longer be buried. They are still in love with you. But this time, it's not the romanticized kind. It's not the daydream version. It's not the version where they get to run when it gets too intense. No. This is the real, raw, reverent kind of love. The kind that stays even when fear tries to scream. After that night, they tried to carry on like nothing had changed. They tried to go back to routine. Back to normal. Back to the safe version of their life without you. But something felt wrong. Coffee didn't taste the same. Music didn't move them the same. Even the people around them felt like static. Because once the truth is awakened, everything else becomes noise. The angels watched them as they stood in their room with your name still echoing in their bones. They picked up their phone more than once. Typed your name. Deleted it. Typed again. Backspaced again. They want to talk to you. But they're scared. Scared they waited too long. Scared you've moved on. Scared their silence became a wound too deep to repair. But listen closely, because the Holy Spirit has begun to stir them. Not guilt. Not pressure. But divine urgency. Something inside them is whispering, if I don't say something now, I'll lose them forever. And the heavens are beginning to clear the path. Doors are opening. People around them are starting to say your name. Strangers are mentioning words you once said. Even their dreams are becoming portals of memory and longing. The signs are undeniable. And the angels say to you now, you must prepare your heart, not with desperation, but with discernment. Because when they come, and they will, they won't look like the same person who left. They will be cracked open, softened, sincere. A little awkward, maybe. But honest. They will not come to test you. They will come to tell the truth they can no longer hold inside. And the truth is, you were the one who saw their soul before they could even explain it. You were the calm in their chaos. You were the mirror that terrified them because it reflected everything pure they were afraid they'd ruin. But now, they want to try. They don't want perfection. They don't even know if you'll take them back. But they want you to know, they remember everything. The laugh you tried to hide. The prayer you whispered when they weren't looking. The way you always knew when they were lying, not to you, but to themselves. They remember. And now, they're ready to stop running. The angels say, in the next 10 days, you will see the shift. It may begin with a song. Or a text. Or someone else telling you, I saw them the other day, and they asked about you. But don't be fooled by small beginnings. Because God is behind this return. This is not karma. Not coincidence. This is God brings together, no fear, your love was always divine, no silence, and no mistake. And what is divine cannot be buried forever. Beautiful soul, it resurrects, cried, prayed, let go, and still believed. Not because it was easy, but because something in your spirit knew this wasn't over. And now, heaven is preparing the final act. But it won't be loud. It won't come in the way you expect. It will come in stillness. In one quiet moment when everything around you is ordinary. But the supernatural enters through the back door of your soul and whispers, they're coming. You'll feel it before you see it. Their energy will return to you like a wave. A vibration. A peace mixed with holy tension. And when you feel it, don't doubt it. Because the sacred reunion has already been signed in the courts of heaven. That person, the one who finally surrendered to the truth, is now on their way. No longer afraid. No longer pretending. No longer stuck in the illusion of what if. They are being led by angels. By signs. By dreams that won't let them sleep until they speak what they've been holding back. You are the home their soul never stopped aching for. They've seen the counterfeit. They've tried the distractions. But none of it compares to the divine warmth they felt when you looked at them like you could see their entire future in one glance. And this time, they're not coming empty. They're coming with clarity. With apology. With awe. With reverence. With the story of their awakening etched into every heartbeat. They may not have all the words. But their eyes will say everything. And now, the angels give you this final instruction, welcome them, but don't rescue them. Forgive them, but don't lose yourself again. Open the door, but stay grounded in the identity God rebuilt in you during their absence. Because this time, it's not about saving them. It's about walking together into the future that was always meant to be yours. Side by side. Soul to soul. No more running. No more pretending. No more delay. This reunion is holy. This union is sacred. And this moment was written before time began. Now is the time to get ready. Clean the altar of your heart. Let go of the pain, the questions, the fear. Because the promise is coming wrapped in skin and breath and a trembling voice that says, I see you now. I always did. But now, I'm not afraid to choose you out loud. Let the angels bear witness. Let the stars align. Let the heavens rejoice. Your story isn't restarting. It's continuing from the exact page where love never stopped. The sacred reunion begins now.